Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another live episode of Coach Connect, Who of the Hour. This is actually our third month. This is a live episode, and this is episode 11. And for tonight, I'm going to have with me a life coach, a professional life coach with me. But more than that, he is a season. I couldn't express it any further. He's such a man that we have respected in the industry, been in the industry as an entrepreneur, a business person, grew his business, sold his business, done a lot of things. A senior citizen, he would say he's a lazy person. He would say a lot of things. But I would remember this man as a man that is so creative, a man who tells a story, a man who shares wisdom, a man who's generous enough to tell people what life has been and how life could be based in his story. Another thing that you can learn from this man is how he is as a father of three boys, a husband of a beautiful wife. Doesn't look like a senior citizen. Very beautiful, beautiful wife. All right. So there's so much in that story. But the very reason why that I invited him over is because Coach Connect is the initiative of the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs to connect with our coaches during this time of pandemic. We want to check how are they doing right now, what is their situation, how are they coping, what's their outcome, how do they see life right now. But this man is one person. We are a tribe of 268 life coaches, and this is one person who soar higher, brighter, and should we say gain a lot of traction during pandemic. During this time, we've got a lot of businesses going on. The food business is either going up or going down, depending on how you look at it. For those people in the industry with physical spaces like myself, like Decaf Coffee Republic, like other coffee shop and other restaurant, they suffered and lost sales. But we've seen also a lot of entrepreneurs rising up to the challenge and providing different kinds of food baked from their own kitchen. Okay. So this man who's joining me today is someone who can walk us through in the eyes of a man who started just trying it out. And earlier he was talking that there's a backstory to that. But to us, this was something that he just wanted to try. And the trial came into a full business right now in our eyes. But in him, it's just still, trying and all of this. Recently, he launched also his chicken. And we were having a conversation. We have a lot of plans to do. And why it would be a good time for you to listen tonight? Why would you invite people to join in a conversation? Because there's more to life than crisis. There's more to life than being a senior citizen.
Yeah.
There's more to life than seeing all of these things in the eyes of crisis, pandemic, negativity. And it has nothing to do with the situation outside to change it. It had got to do from the inside. So, change agents, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on the show. Coach Chito Mauleon, professional certified life coach, the owner, the bringer of joy of 24 by 7, 24 by 7 goodness. Good evening, Coach Chito. Take it away. How are you?
Good evening. I'm great. Thank you for inviting me. Well, Coach A asked me to describe myself when she invited me over. And I told her that I'm a ringer of life and the bringer of joy. Now, probably most of us are very familiar with movies. And one of the movies that I actually enjoyed was called Dead Poet Society.
Oh,
It's one
yeah.
of the it's one of the movies wherein Robin Williams, or the late great comedian Robin Williams, shined beautifully. And
Yeah.
I liked that particular movie so much because of so many quotable quotes that it had. And one of the quotes that Robin Williams said was that carpe diem, seize the day, live extraordinary lives. ever since I watched that movie, I tried to um, live it out, tried to live that extraordinary life. But excuse me, before I go into that, I'd like to first tell you a story about who I am, where I came from. Now, usually people are the beauty of life basically is that we have choices to make. But one thing that we did not choose was the parents we are to be born,
We
from, or the family. We did not choose the family that we're going to belong to. Now,
absolutely.
I was, I would say, fortunate, or depends, depends on how you look at it, because I was born to a family that valued um, honor, integrity, and excellence. We were definitely not a rich family, but we were, let's say, well, middle class, upper middle. We had, well, we were fortunate enough to have two tennis courts at home, and well, the claim to fame of the family was that my mom or her family was belonged to the Ampon family. Um, During the 50s to the 70s, Ampon was a very big name in tennis. In fact, if you're going to do a Google search, my uncle, Felicissimo Ampon, is supposedly the pound for pound best tennis player the Philippines ever had until now. During his time, he had 30 international titles. He was Philippine champion for a span of, well, of course, he was not champion every year, but was champion for a span of 20 plus years. So he was playing actively in men's tournaments until he was about 47. He wasn't playing seniors yet. He played in the men's where the 24-year-olds were playing. So, ganun siya. And then my aunt, Desideria Ampon, was also, by the way, my uncle is the only Filipino to have won the gentleman's plate in Wimbledon in
Wow.
in England. Yeah, and well, that was quite an honor. And then my aunt was ladies champion in Asia and the Philippines for roughly about, well, probably even longer, about 30 years. And their only opponents at that time were the Japanese. So growing up, I was in a house wherein wall to wall we had trophies and awards. But I was the fat boy. I was an only child, and yung naiwan sa kusina. And then being an only child, syempre, my mom would always give me food to eat. And obviously, I was not that gifted in playing tennis because roly-poly. I mean, how would I run after all the balls when I was carrying all that weight? So, and being in a competitive family, my mom chose an avenue for me where I could excel. So, and growing, well, the thing is, if you're in a family that values such things as excellence, integrity, and honor, there is a certain expectation. Now,
Mm.
well, my mom thought that probably I could do well in school. So, what she did was that, just like the training of my cousins, because every day at 5:30 in the morning, they would already be running around the tennis court, jogging or hitting balls. Ako naman, I would be opening my books to study. And then she would also let me join all the contests in school. So up to grade 6, I was like a poster boy. I won all the medals, and but it was not an easy life because you really have to push. You really have uh, to be able to reach a certain level. You have to push harder than everybody else. But
Yeah.
at that time, I did not see it in that manner. I saw it as that I was trying to live her life. So one day I rebelled and told her, I want to live my own life. I don't want to live a continuation of your life or your frustration. So something like that. I was a rebellious kid and I turned grade 7. And then from grade 7 onwards, I wasn't so serious in school anymore. But you know, when you're used to a certain regimen, when you when you because I was used to the training. When you're used to that, it's something that you could turn on. So let's say, for example, when exam comes, some of my classmates would be astonished because they know that I don't study at all, especially during college. But when exam comes, I had the discipline to to put aside a certain time and then was na study.
Study.
Though of course it was cramming already, but since I was there was stock knowledge from my grade school days, and then I just sort of beef up on it, and I would kahit pa paano, I made honors, but not the type of honors I got when I was in grade school. So moving on to so that's we're talking of core values. Ano? So this is the family value of um, well of excellence, of honor and integrity. Now, moving on, I when I was working already. Well, when we were conversing, Master Coach, I told you that I'm not the type of person who likes to work hard. Before, I don't know if inabot mo yun, but there were buzzwords like work smart instead of working hard, something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
So what I did when I was in started working, the first 5 years, I was really not much of a performer. In fact, um, wala lang. You know what my job was?
Yeah.
When I first um, entered the job market, my job was a clerical aide. A clerical aide is the assistant to the clerk.
Yeah.
Assistant to the clerk. So it's a menial job. So for 5 years, my rank was a clerk because I didn't mind work. I mean, it was of not much value to me until I met my wife to be, because during that time she was already a performer. She was one of those go-getter traders in another bank. So I said, ah, I have to prove myself because she's already she's almost officer level, and I was not.
Yeah.
So I went on a plan and I said, how could I be able to reach the particular position she was in and even exceed it? So what I did was that I looked for um, because I have to be recognized to be able to be promoted by the company. So my trick was that I looked for problems or for issues the bank hasn't solved for so long for 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 various reasons. It could be that nobody wanted to take a look at it. It's been tradition, or things of that nature. So what I did was that I did it as a special project, and then I came up with a solution. So I got noticed, and so after the 5 years, every 6 months I was promoted. So I became officer uh, faster than my wife, even though she got her MBA from the US. So yun yung yun yung um, well that's the
Strategy.
sort of strategy I used was that I want we're all just like the common adage, when everybody's white be the red or something like that. but I got noticed, and that's what happened. But then again, as I progressed, I saw that um, I wasn't I wasn't living I wasn't really living the life that I wanted to have. So I said, is is it, is employment really the thing for me? But here's the catch though. Dahil nga I'm an only child, uh, I did something that's usually unthinkable because after I got married, I asked my mom. Sabi ko, Mom, can I have my inheritance already? So, and well, of course, being an only child, she said, okay, you could, well, just like going back to what I was telling you a while ago, we were not, I'm not, I don't come from a rich family, but my wife does. I, but in our tennis courts, definitely, I see all the rich people there because they want to have tennis lessons with the great Felicissimo Ampon, or if they were ladies, they would want to have tennis lessons with my aunt. So the hunger or the thirst or the curiosity for how would it be to live a rich man's life. So that's constantly going on in my head. And then of course when I met my wife, they're kumbaga sa ano, buena pamilya, parang ganun. So uh, her ancestors used to own half of the town of Lian in Batangas. Now, right now, it's also where the Rojas family have the Central Azucarera. But the difference between her lolo and Don Pedro was that her lolo, yung tracts of land niya, gave them away. Gave away the tracts of land to the mga kasama, whereas the Ross family held on to their portion. So now you will see Punta Fuego and everything that's Rojas. Now their portion, wala na masyado because they gave it away. But nonetheless, because of the generosity, they were able to make good political connections. Again, another another important facet. No? So I was so awed because she has a cousin who became a billionaire at the age of 29 because he cornered, uh, sugar or all the cadans of sugar he could supply to the big manufacturers like Coke or Pepsi. So at the age of 29, he was living the life already. And I so wanted to be like him because uh, very often he would lend us his yacht. And when, Coach, are you familiar with the movie Titanic?
Yes.
Have you seen it? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yung one scene doon, di ba? Yung nasa bow sila. Tapos, the girl was
Mahangin.
spreading her. Yes. So,
I love that as well. Okay. That's the beauty of
oh,
having
so
a yacht. You can do that.
yes. And it's a great feeling when you're up there and you could see the horizon. You could just imagine it that wow, the world is beautiful and you're like master and commander. Parang ganun.
Yeah.
So I said, nakita ko yung cousin of hers is yun yung meron siya mga ganun, and then he has his house in Ayala Alabang, and then his cars are either Ferraris or at that time sikat pa yung Datsun or Nissan because he
Yeah.
also races. So what he does is that when his cars needs to get fixed, he gets a mechanic from Italy for the Ferrari and a mechanic from Japan for the Nissan. Parang ganun. But the thing is, di balik na ako do sa what I told you, I asked for my inheritance.
Inheritance.
Yes. But the thing is, I had this wrong concept of wealth. So I had this wrong concept of being rich
There
because
we go.
nakita ko lang, because all I
You
saw was
survive.
that, yeah,
The beauty
because
of
all I
the
saw,
wealth.
yes, what you could buy with it,
Yeah.
or how you could enjoy life with so much money.
The perks. The perks of
The
having
per-
the money.
yes, that's why it's also that's why there are already a lot of videos and instructionals on what to do if either you won the lottery or you came into money so suddenly. I didn't have that
Absolutely.
during that time. I didn't have
Yeah.
that during that time. And the thing is, dahil nga I came from thinking that I'm so good and I'm an expert in what I do. I trusted my instinct. Eh di bira lang ako ng bira, no? Like, sabi ko, I like to own properties. So I bought land. I like to own cars. I had a lot of cars. I like to own this or that. But pretty soon, uh, just like, if you have too much of anything and you don't have the experience or you don't have, hindi mo pinaghirapan, it also goes away pretty soon. One lesson I learned is that it's not all about you. It's not all about me. It, which brings me to something everybody knows. Everybody knows this, but the thing is, it's hard to live. Um, there, you're a Christian. I'm Catholic, and God has told us that there are two commandments, two major commandments. Love God above everybody, above everything else, and then love your neighbor as yourself.
Likes you likes.
It's it's practically a guide. But the thing is, so you love your neighbor as yourself. Uh, I saw one of Coach Irwin's, well, what he says is, be a blessing to others so that you would be blessed. That's very true. But at that time, I was just thinking of myself and my enjoyment and my family's enjoyment. So, uh, you know, I had a, I don't want to mention how much money was there when I sold the property because I got inheritance, but it was a lot. And the thing was, it only took me a couple of years
To
to
waste it.
lose it all, waste it.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
so what happened was that peak and then boom, valley.
Down.
So I had to retool, I had to go again. Well, but and the thing was, when I had all the money, the business I started was anything to do with, because I loved cars. It was anything to do with cars. So I had a car shop, I had an auto detailing, I had a
Racing.
car accessories, and then I even became a team principal racing. So I raced myself, and then I also paid for the racing of other people. But as we all know, well, racing is not a cheap sport. It is very expensive. On the tires alone, it's easy to spend, well, basically millions for tires. But I didn't care because I
You have
was
money.
thinking to I was thinking to myself, oh, I have to advertise my company. I have to have a good name. Of course, it had its value, but the thing was, I had to curb my own wanton spending. Yeah, because if I didn't spend so well wantonly on anything, because at that time when I got a car, I was not just pleased with having a car. It had to have all the accessories. It had to go fast. It had to shine like anything, even at night. So uh, that's the reason why. But if I just kept on to the business, then, well, the sales were doing well because we were winning in the races. We had a good name. But then again, it's more of my personal
You.
spending habits, which
Yeah.
was which was not so good. So um, ups and downs, and then after which I, but I was able to well, with whatever money I had left, I went into financials naman, and this was where we really hit it big because um, people will tell you if you're trading, of course, there is technical analysis, fundamental analysis, but what is really important is market sentiment, or how the people or how the market views certain stocks or currencies. In short, if you've got a lot of money, you could make, well, you could actually control a trend.
Absolutely.
So yes.
That's true.
So yeah. So what we did was that we hitched on to a group of people who controlled the trend, and definitely we were raking it in, like there's no tomorrow. Like it was,
Absolutely.
it was actually like we could make money out of grow on trees, basically.
Yeah, you're
So
having it.
yeah, and with that, I had whatever money I lost, I gained it back, plus so much more.
Much.
But here goes again.
The thing, yeah.
Um, Here it goes again. Like what I was telling you a while ago. I had so much belief in myself that I was doing so well. Like
Yep.
there's no tomorrow. So I said, instead of getting or magsusubli or save or something, because
Put it all there.
yeah. So I did, because we were doing so well. Balik uli.
Yeah.
Like the gambler in me, or the thrill
Yeah.
seeker in me, hindi ako nagsubi. So
Yeah.
well, there were some, but it's nothing compared to what I put back. Parang ganun.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
but we were doing so well already that I said, pretty soon I could have my name on the papers or the society page, because
Yeah.
we were thinking that this guy is rich, he's made it. You know how it is. But then again, 2008 happened. In
Yep.
2008, as you all know, it's a financial
That's
crisis.
it.
We're in, yeah. And when it hit, and several big banks in the U.S. were either put on more stringent controls or stringent measures, because apparently they're lending out to so well home borrowers or homeowners that really do not have the capacity to pay.
Hey.
So banks became more strict, and we were hit because in trading kasi, there's what you call the margin call, or you just put in a small amount of money, and then to be able to bet on, or to position yourself against large chunks. But since there since banking regulations were became more strict, it was very hard to transfer money, especially if you're talking about huge sums.
Yep.
So what happened was that, well, no boss, whatever
You're
principal,
done.
because whatever
You're done.
principal I had was diminished because of not being able to transfer, and then but and then we also had some investors who had money with us. So of course they were mad that what happened to the money, where is it going. So again, the lesson I got there was that well, it's you know that's why I thrive in crisis now. It's because uh, my life has been constantly in
In crisis.
crisis, but not, yes. And then one of the hardest things is that let's say, for example, during that period wherein we were doing the trading thing or global financial markets, we were, of course, aside from our own money, we had money of friends. And it's hard when we're talking about money. And it's hard when, especially, if it's money of friends. Because you could lose a friendship, or well, it came to the extent that one of them was threatening to shoot us.
Yeah.
Or, but of course, it's perfectly understandable. But the thing is, it's a good thing that one, God is good. It did not happen. Secondly, I I somehow created value in the friendship because I was honest with him. Of course, we used other traders and everything, but me personally, I was honest with him. I really treated him as a friend. So when he was, well, he pointed the gun, but he could not shoot it because he looked at me as someone he trusted, as someone as his friend. It just so happens that we were also caught up in this global financial thing. That's why he cannot do anything. And then, of course, the last thing is that it's, the value of humility or of being humble. Because if you mi- well well I wrote something before when I said it's easy to be nice if you're rich or if you have money, because if you have money it's easy just to be, well, treating poor people with niceties or with
Because you have the
well
money.
because you have the money, you don't
That's
have
right.
so much of a care. And it's easy to be humble if you don't have money because wala magpapakumbaba ka because, well, as far as you're concerned, wala ka namang pagmamalaki or something. But
Yeah.
it's 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 not supposed to be like that. But my thesis is it's best to be both nice and humble. Even if you have the money, it's best to be humble.
Yeah.
Um, so, but all of these experiences have taught me that, well, first of all, there is nothing in life that can break you if you won't let it happen. There's also um, one of the, well, most tragic errors I had before was that I only trusted myself and my own opinion. I didn't consult with others, and that's the beauty of our tribe. That's the beauty of our community. It's because we could talk to each other. We could, well, it's like a springboard, or, well, um, we could bounce off ideas with each
Yep.
other.
Yep.
We don't necessarily have to be the master of everything, but some people within the tribe could contribute to yung mga kulang sa, well, some other people. But then again, that's the beauty of community. So
Yep.
that's one thing that I learned, is to trust other people, or to trust people who know more than I do, basically. And
Okay.
eventually, um, after that happened, I was telling you when well when I was still actively going, because right after I graduated in August last year, and I was actively going to
Decap.
yeah. So I was actively going to DCUP in the former location, and I was telling you that um, uh, well, what I wanted to do with my own coaching was that, um, because I wanted to, I was telling you that I wanted to breed champions, because or I wanted to write a book about
Yeah.
how it is to raise champions.
Okay.
Well, I had that in mind because just like what you were saying in the intro, I actually have three sons, and
Yep.
praise God, they are a whole lot better than I am. Probably
Yep.
because of the experiences that we had. Kaya none of them are spendthrift. None of them have this um, unceasing passion for cars that would lead them to spend so much.
Yeah. The
So
material
they're
things.
yes, not none of them are, but they are all they all excel in their lives in the way that well, let me put it this way: they are not extraordinary people. They are ordinary people that I have tried to um, well, I didn't try because going back to what I said a while ago about training, I personally did not enjoy being under that rigorous training if I didn't see the value in it. So when I had my sons, I just let them have a good child's life. I did not put them into the pressure of you have to perform well in school, you have to do this or that sport. I would expose them to sports and activities, but I did not pressure them to excel because
Yeah.
my thinking was that you have to have your own personal why. Why do you want to do this? Or you have to it has to come from you. I don't have to dictate it to you na be an honor student because I'll give you this, because I'll give you whatever you like. I did not train them that way. But among all my children, in fact, um, the eldest probably is the most intelligent. He is, but definitely, he is very streetwise. Yung in Tagalog, what do you call that?
Mabilidad.
Mabilid. There you go.
Mabilidad.
Mabilidad. And I saw
Yeah.
it in action when because we normally live near where their school is. Because, well, I'll just put it out. Because we had some money, so pwede kaming tumira doon sa
Kahit
malapit sa
saan.
school.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Kahit
so,
saan.
so, so when they were studying in Ateneo, we rented a townhouse in Abada, Esteban Abada. So it's, just a stone's throw away. So he would go to school only on first bell. So he would walk from the townhouse to the school,
Yeah.
run because it's the first bell already. But it's also a good place because yung all of his classmates could gather there, and well, that's why we were kind of close with them as well. But one thing that happened to him was that, and I didn't teach him this. One day, he was held up while going home. So may dalawang hold upper. Sabi sa kanya,
Mm.
bigay mo sa akin cellphone mo. And it was only about 13 years old at that time. Eh, and fortunately his wallet was yung, are you familiar with the billfold? Yung parang clip lang na
Yep.
yung the money is there now. So in his mind, he told me that he was thinking, how can I get away from this and still be intact? So what he did
Yeah.
initially was that he gave the phone. But while he was giving the phone, he was already fumbling with the money, so that because he knew that after the phone they would ask for his wallet.
Yep.
So he took away the large bills, and because they were ganun siya ka-meticulous, it was arranged well, yung amount of currency. So he was able to take out the bigger amount of bills and left some siguro 40 pesos thereabouts. And then sure enough, the next thing that the guys asked for was his wallet. So binigay niya, may lamang 40. And then he asked them, sabi niya, boss, baka pwede naman, wala ka naman, wala naman silbi sa iyo yung SIM card ko. Pero nariyan yung phone number ng mga kaklase ko, ng teacher ko. Kailangan ko yan para sa mga group work namin. Baka pwede mong ibigay na lang sa akin, sa'yo na yung phone.
Yeah.
So, the robber acceded and he was able to get his SIM card, which is
SIM
kind
card.
of vital for, especially for homework and things like those. So, and he was, street smart. But he was not a performer in school but what he is very good at was that he's good at making money. Because even though we had money at that time, I did
Yeah.
not spoil them by giving them big allowances because they had to earn it, and by way of, either doing well or doing chores or things like those. But not a big allowance. But he knew how to make money. He made money by selling. You're familiar with basketball tickets, right? Like
Yeah.
in Ateneo, they're very big in UAAP. So what he'd do
So
was that
bibilin niya.
during recess, yung classmates niya, syempre mga anak mayaman, tamad pumunta doon sa Blue Eagle Gym, which is
Yeah. Malayo eh.
yun from high
Malayo
school.
eh. Ayaw nila yon.
What he would do is
He'll do
that
it.
he would run from his classroom to the gym and then buy tickets at 25
Yeah.
pesos and then sell the tickets to his classmates for 300. So bata pa
He
lang
know
siya
how
noon, he
to
could
how
already turn up.
he knows how to make money. Okay.
Yes.
So, Coach Chito.
So
Okay. So,
that
Coach
was,
Chito,
and then yes,
go ahead. I just want to
yeah.
acknowledge, Coach
Sorry,
Chito, that there are
napatagalan ko lang
people.
to.
It's okay. There are people that are messaging us. You're asking questions. So I'm not interrupting
Yes,
Coach Chito so he can give you his
yes.
story. Now, right after the show, Coach Chito can go back to the chat and he can respond to you. Okay. So
All right.
just keep
Okay.
your questions coming in, and he'll come back to you after the show. Okay. So just thank you so much for all your questions. He'll come back to you after the show. Okay. Coach Chito, okay, we go to your second son. So para ba kompleto natin
Now, my
tatlong bata?
second
The
son.
second son?
My second son, among all my children, he was the only one who performed well academically. And when he did, yung masyado siyang naaliw about receiving awards. So he asked me, Dad, what does it take to be able to be a consistent honor student? Ang sabi ko sa kanya, there is a price to pay. And but it was also a signal for me na this boy probably could handle the type of training I was going through when I was when I was a boy or when I was a young person.
That's right.
And because he showed interest, it came from him. I didn't tell him, oh, mag-honor ka, ha? Pag nag-honor ka, ito. So it came from him. And going to how he is now, iba rin yung ano niya eh. In fact, I'm actually learning from him because talking about value, aside from putting up good work and aside from my trick of finding out what's wrong with the company or how I could advance faster by way of delivering special projects, he does it, but he also added something else. He knows how it is to play politics. He plays politics with his, with his mentors. In fact, he got several mentors, and he talks to them regularly. That's why, while he was, I was actually telling you a story, but before he was in Philip Morris, he graduated the top of his class in some sort of graduate training program. And he was the only one who was promoted even before the training program was over. And then after the training program, he was promoted again. Now, because he got a lot of, um, and then aside from that, ang ginagawa niyang iba kaysa sa akin was that he knows how to create significant personal relationships with people who
Okay.
matter. What do I mean by that? Like, say, for example, he has this lady boss who likes to go scuba diving. He
Okay.
went scuba diving with her. So he was telling me, Dad, gusto ko bumili ng tank or, all the stuff for scuba. Sabi ko, ang scuba, hindi yan murang hobby. But, his answer to me shocked me. He said, Dad, this is not a hobby. This is an investment.
Investment.
So, uh, and true enough, the person or the lady that he was going scuba diving with took him out of Philip Morris and brought him to Disney. So
Yeah. That's the
after,
story.
yes, after a couple of years, he was taken to Disney, and actually he resigned last Friday from Disney
Oh,
in Shanghai because now, yes, he's he's going to head Asia already for another company. But I'm not yet in a liberty to
ready.
say which
Yeah.
company
Cannot.
this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
because
Okay.
hindi pa ano eh. He's coming
Di ba
here
tapos? Yeah.
October, but by January he'll be moving to Singapore and he'll be heading
Yeah.
Asia. Sabi ko, wow,
That's good.
27 years old. And then
He's there.
ako at 27, I was but I was just I was just starting to be an officer at 27. But he was already
He's there.
head of Asia at
Okay.
27.
And the youngest
Now
coach?
my third son naman, ito walang hilig sa aral. In fact, when he was young, and the two elder kids kasi, we enrolled them in Ateneo. Now my youngest, when we enrolled him, when he took the entrance exam, what he did was just he drew on the entrance exam dahil he was bored. Well, apparently, um, my youngest son has ADHD. So whenever he draws, he would draw complete opposites, pero perfect. Ah. Like say for example, he would draw a gun, one side here, one side there, but when you put them together, pareho, sakto.
Yeah.
So that's his type of intelligence. He's quite good with math, and definitely he's a people person. But
What is
he's
he
not the
doing
type
now,
of person.
coach?
He's an entrepreneur. So he has several businesses.
Yeah,
And
he's the
among
one
my
in the
children,
entrepreneurial.
yes, among all my children, he was the one who was able to make the most money within 6 months. Like say for example, right after college. In fact, during college, uh, ito pa isang kwento. Initially, we enrolled him in LaSalle. And during his first year, he joined this network marketing. And he was doing so well. So sabi niya, akala niya siguro, okay na yun kahit hindi mag-aaral dahil laki naman ang kita eh. Because I think he made in 2-3 weeks mga 300 or so thousand. So he was so spurred by that sabi niya, nag-ano siya, without telling us, we only found out that he went AWOL. So when we were called, he was he was about to be uh, what hindi naman expel yun, but he
Spell.
was separated from the university. Yes.
Yeah.
So I went to
Suspended.
my former yes, I went to my former school because I had classmates who became priests. So sabi ko, bro, baka pwede mo akong tulungan. I went to San Beda in Alabang. Kaya that's the reason why we lived in Alabang naman dahil nga because of the youngest son. I went to San Beda Alabang and told him, can you do something for my son? Because he got taken out of LaSalle and I want him to finish college. Dahil nga, I mean, I think he just cannot rely on not having any formal education of course, it's, well, aside from the discipline, definitely, one good thing about education is that it gives you contacts. It gives you, you meet a lot of friends who would, who could be either business partners or could be clients. So
Yeah.
for whatever it's worth, it has its purpose. So
Thank you.
I told him, continue with your course. And well, he took up a course that was close to his heart, which was entrepreneurship. And
Okay.
again, uh, ito naman, nasubukan siya with that entrepreneurship thing. Dahil nga, they were all given a project na they were to go to some place in Taytay, Rizal. And then, wala kang wallet, wala kang pera, wala kang cellphone.
Yeah.
You take the public
It's
transportation,
yeah.
you fend for yourself, stay there stay overnight, and then come home.
Yeah.
And he was able to last just by asking people to spare him some food, or
Yeah.
kuya, pwede ba sumakay?
So
So
nakaya.
wala yung wallet. So kinaya niya. So which means, iba kasi yung mindset, iba yung mindset na kailangan for entrepreneurship, for going into business versus
Yeah.
going corporate. So
Okay.
you have to have a lot of guts and kapal ng mukha, and willing to take, rejection. I mean, you eat it for breakfast. For if you want to stay or stay long in being an entrepreneur, uh, you have to take no, uh,
For an answer.
and turn it into yes.
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 Coach
You,
Chito, I'm
so
gonna close this now. I'm gonna summarize it now for the people watching. Thank you so much for your story. So true enough, your story is such this complete that completes the night. For those of
wow.
you who's joining us for the first time, if you're hopping in and you kind of come in late, okay, so some of your question was given at the beginning, okay, so
Yes.
let me just encapsulate the whole of this,
Yes.
no. uh the question was creating value, creating
Yes.
massive value for business growth, and most
Yes.
probably you're kind of lost where are all of these things coming to form and how
Yes.
do we put down the puzzles. So here's the
Okay.
thing, okay? The reason why I allowed Coach Chito to
To
just
ramble.
go and flow. Yeah, right? This is episode 11. And if you could really look into the past episodes, there was so much interactions. But this time I allowed Coach Chito to just finish the whole thing. And I'll tell you
Yeah.
why. Because oftentimes, we, young generations, people who's new in the business, new in the game, new in the tricks, new in the things, we just want, give me that one, that question, that's
Mm.
it. That's not
Yeah.
how life is. He started the background. He started the childhood. He started the
Yeah.
values. He started all of these intricacies, all the fragments of life that comes together. You are interested with the cookies. You are
Yeah.
interested why he's doing what he's doing. The answer is because of the whole story. And you
Yes.
know what, guys? You know what, change
Yes.
agents? You know what, fellow entrepreneurs? That's how it is to thrive in the entrepreneur world. You just don't take what you want. You take the whole package. The man keeps
That's
telling
true.
you there's a price you have to pay. And sometimes the price to pay, listen for 1 hour. Take the lessons.
Yeah.
Unlearn what you have to unlearn. Be patient. Learn from the masters. Learn from the season. That's why at the beginning of the show, I told you season, season, season. I keep telling you that he's going to give it all to you, but not in your package, in his package. He gave us a very good backdrop of how it is to have money and lose it, how to live without it, how to have
Yeah.
abundance of that, right? But he
Yeah.
also encapsulated everything of this. everything of this. The overarching lesson is love God, honor God. The second is love others the way you love yourself. All of the stories. So, right?
Yes.
How do you create value? If you know that everything you do goes back to God because it's from Him. How do you create massive value? If you know that the value you're creating is also from other people to be blessed and so you can be blessed. How do you have all these kind of businesses that can run dry, run wet, run rake, or done nothing, right? It can be, you can have the cookies today, tomorrow the turkey, tomorrow no
Yeah.
more. But the question is, what will make him stand? And I guess one thing that you also have to see with all the experiences towards the end is the next generation. That's why I want to cap it with the three kids. Our stories does not end with our story. We've got
Yeah.
next generations. That's our children.
The
Senior
legacy.
citizen, the legacy, right? The legacy. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't mind it because we want to live for the present. So if we
Yeah.
hit, we shit, we die, in the process, we say that's the end. Have you
Yeah.
forgotten there's the next generation? You're not
That's true.
living for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the whole picture of this. That's why I want you to hear it from childhood to another child. And now the next
Yeah.
generation is no longer a child. He got three children, three
Yeah.
men. All right. That's now shaping the next history, the next generation. He talks about a street smart, good in academic, an ADHD, an entrepreneur. He talks a lot, all of this. But where do we all come back? Above all else, there's God. If we
Yeah.
don't all submit to the
Definitely.
God who created all this, right, Coach Chito, we will all lose this. But if we
Yes.
are submitted to the God who created and gave this, we will all regain it. We
Okay.
cannot love
Can I do?
others. Yeah, I'll give it back to you, Coach Chito, to close.
Yes.
Cannot, we cannot give to others what we do not have.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
oftentimes, God said, love others the way we love ourselves. And the reason why we cannot love others is we do not love ourselves.
That's
So,
true.
two things he said
Amen.
about God. And so, Coach Chito, I'll give it the floor to you to close it. Take it away. How do you see things right now, and how do you see the future?
I see. Well, I see a very promising future. In fact, I've never felt so invigorated in my life. One of the questions you asked a while ago was that I I was off topic. Um, I did a bit of life coaching myself, and I had very good results, especially right after the course, wherein I was handling um, my son who is in Disney, and then his girlfriend who is also a bit of a performer. I was able to get some of their office mates, which is very good. I mean, but then again, it all goes back to uh, there's a flow. There's a natural flow of things. Um, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in the universe, whether you believe in nature or the force, there
Divinity.
is somebody or something that is actually greater than you. And then there is a natural flow of things. If you just think of yourself and you go against the flow, you're going to get overwhelmed. But the flow is a flow of goodness, it's a flow of compassion, it's a flow of, uh, well, living peacefully with other people. Now, if you're able to capitalize on that flow, and your plans for well, enriching or enlarging your business is in that is in con is in well, parallel to that, you do very well. Whether you strive for excellence, whether you strive for wealth, whether you strive for being a better person, uh, you really have to work at it. You have to push, and you have and if you want to be better than, well, not necessarily, well, it's up to you. But if you want really excel, you have to push harder than everybody else.
That's right.
And and but the thing is, do it for others. Do it for your customers. Do it for other people. Because the thing is, let's say for example, wealth. If you're just doing it for yourself, you may be satisfied with a certain amount. Let's say 1,000,000 pesos or so if you're not really spending so much. But if you put in your family, if you put in generational wealth, you try to push for something bigger.
Bigger.
But
That's right.
but when you're already managing companies and you're talking about the families of the people who are working for you or with you, then
It becomes bigger.
that's so that's a lot bigger. And if you're talking about the market that you're gonna serve, and it goes to the millions already, then that's where real money comes in. But then again,
Absolutely.
but then again, never forget just the two simple commandments. Recognize that is this is not just about you. It's not about me. It's about giving love. That's why I I enjoy being with the tribe because I find value in creating a home wherein there are like-minded individuals who would want to be of service to others.
Yep.
And I definitely would want to congratulate you, champion master coach A.
Thank you.
And well, just like I see each and every one of the coaches, and I address them champions because each and every one of us is a champion for something that we're really good at, and I see that. So yeah,
Thank you.
um,
Thank you so
basically
much.
that's
Coach Chito, it's been a beautiful night.
yes,
Indeed, you are
yes,
true to who you are. You always create value and you always provided value. I've
thank you.
seen how the mechanics of all the things that in the past happens to you, and you put that in a pedestal that you don't hide from it. You're not
Yeah,
bragging about it, but you're coming back to a space wherein you're grateful for that, and you're saying all of these things is forming you, and
yeah,
that what's creating and molding you to become the life coach that the young entrepreneurs can look up and go to. And
thank you.
beyond, that's what we're always saying. It's not about the expertise, but it's about the value we can give to people.
That's true.
I've seen how this mechanics works in you when you start talking about people in the same business as yours.
Mm,
And you share that there's no competition because in the mind of our consumer, that category is ours. And the rest of the people we help. And that's when I talk about value, I have no one really to have, in mind to invite but you. Because I
yeah,
saw that. And I said, this man have learned what took a lot of people generations to learn. Because these things that you are doing, it took a
yeah,
lot of millions to learn in the school. In fact, it's not being taught by the normal people. And you
yeah.
truly belong
That's
to the
true.
1%, because what you just shared with
Thank
these
you.
people right now belongs to the 1%. And so if
Mm,
you're watching and you're kind of what is he talking about, then I would really encourage you go back to tonight's episode, because I got a guess who comes from the 1%. And barely I do that. I barely do that because oftentimes people cannot grasp the whole of it. But you see, when you live in the 1%, not just it's not the famous actually. The people who can control wealth, distribute wealth, create wealth, dilute wealth when needed, or transfer to wealth, by the way, because you just don't really dilute it. You learn that the overarching of this, we can create value because we know our core values. And that is anchored to the God who created us with so much value and gift for the world. Thank you so much for
one
being
more
with us,
thing.
Coach.
One more thing. Champ. I just want to say that we have a world of abundance. Let us not
Absolutely.
think that let us not think that it is a world wherein a world of scarcity. We are in a world of abundance. It is up to us to be able to or suck the marrow out of this life. So
Yeah.
live. We should all be able to live and live well.
Yeah,
Thank you
but
so
you
much.
can't do it alone. You've got it.
Yes,
Somebody working with you and alongside with you, because
that's
no one
true.
can make it alone. Yeah, that's
Yes.
exactly what we're saying all this time, right? So,
Yeah.
to all of you watching, Coach Chito, go back. He will go back to you and respond to your questions. But yes, he's the man with the cookie. Yes, he's the man with all the things. Yes, he
Yeah.
is absolutely. And once
Thank
again,
you.
I'd like to tell you, I just I wanna close this by saying, no human being can create scarcity because God is greater than all the human being.
Yes.
Scarcity is a
That's
state
true.
of mind. Poverty is a state of mind. It's a mindset. The reality
That's
is
true.
there's abundance. We can't even eat. We can't even consume the 1% of the world. There's so much. So let that mindset of poverty be a space that we want to outgrow. You want to outgrow because it exists in your mind. It exists in your space because you're thinking about it. But the world is a world of abundance if you just allow your mind to go beyond what you have previously thought about. It's been a wonderful night. We are a tribe
Thank you so
of
much.
professional certified life coaches. Tonight is a night where you heard from someone from the 1%. Barely you get a true blue 1%. And let me just tell you, he got it. So when you want somebody, get in touch with him and you'll learn what it takes to make it in this world. Not because you're good and great, not because you're expert or what, but because you know where the value comes and where's the source of everything that you utilize. It comes from above. Just know that you're part of it. Good night, everyone. It's
Thank
a
you.
wonderful evening. I'll see you next Monday with
Thank
Coach
you.
K
Thank you.
Sabala, 2 of the hour next Monday. Good night, everyone. Love and
Good
boom. We
night.
love you all. We'll see you again. Thank you, Coach Tito. It's been a wonderful time with you.